What if today was your last day? Would you leave behind a story worth telling? Or would your life be a fleeting memory forgotten by the world? Think about it. This isn't just a casual question. It's the mirror you've been avoiding. It's the reality check that most people are too afraid to confront. The truth is, life doesn't guarantee you a tomorrow, and yet so many of us waste the most precious resource we have, time. We scroll mindlessly, complain endlessly, and procrastinate like we have all the time in the world. But here's the brutal reality: time waits for no one. Every second you waste is a second closer to the end of your story. But here's the good news: you're still here, you're still breathing, you still have the chance to rewrite your script. And that's what this video is about. By the end of this, you'll not only see the power you have to transform your life, but you'll also understand why the question, would your life be a joke, is the wake-up call you've been waiting for. Stick around, because the reward is simple yet priceless. A blueprint to becoming someone you're proud of. Take a moment to think about this. What's stopping you right now? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Or maybe it's the comfort of mediocrity that keeps you shackled. Human psychology tells us that most people fear failure more than they desire success. They hesitate, not because they can't succeed, but because they've convinced themselves that staying where they are is safer than taking a leap. But let me tell you this, staying the same is the riskiest move you can make. Why? Because comfort is a silent killer. It whispers lies in your ear. You've got time, you're doing fine, or you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is a mirage. It doesn't exist. All you have is today, right now. So let me ask you again, if today was your last day, would your life inspire someone? Would it make people pause and say that was someone who truly lived, or would it be a footnote in the endless scroll of existence? You see, the world doesn't reward the average. It celebrates the bold, the relentless, the ones who refuse to settle. And here's the harsh reality: no one owes you success. No one's coming to push you out of bed or to chase your dreams for you. That's your job, that's your responsibility. Think about all the potential that's buried in graveyards, dreams that were never pursued, talents that were never realized, and stories that were never told. Do you want your name added to that list? Or do you want to live a life that echoes long after you're gone? The choice is yours. Every single day, you're writing the story of your life. Every decision, every action, every habit, it's all building towards something. The question is, what are you building? Are you constructing a monument to your potential, or are you laying the foundation for regret? And here's the thing: you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Start small. It starts to get messy. You start being scared, but start. Because the greatest enemy of progress isn't failure, it's inaction. Let this question haunt you in the best way possible. If today was your last day, would your life be a joke? Or would it be a story worth reading, a legacy worth leaving? Stay with us, because this is just the beginning. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools, the mindset, and the fire within you to take control of your life. To stop living like you have forever and start living like you mean it. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more people who just exist. It needs people who truly live. Are you ready to be one of them? The choice is yours. Why does this question, if you died today, would your life be a joke, matter so much? Why does it cut so deep? Because it forces you to confront the truth. The uncomfortable reality most people avoid at all costs. It strips away all the distractions, all the excuses, and lays bare one simple fact. Life is precious, but it's also fleeting. When we're young, we think we have all the time in the world. We believe we'll get to our dreams someday, but the truth is, someday rarely comes. The average person waits for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect opportunity. They wait, thinking the stars will align. But guess what? The stars aren't going to align. Life doesn't wait for perfection. It waits for action. This is where most people fall into the trap. They keep thinking they'll start tomorrow, next week, or after this big event. But what if there is no tomorrow? What if your time runs out before you've taken that first step toward becoming the person you were meant to be? Time is the one thing you can never get back. Every minute you waste is gone forever. And when you realize that, the weight of your choices becomes clear. What you do today will echo in your tomorrow. But if you're stuck in the cycle of waiting and making excuses, that tomorrow will look exactly like today. And before you know it, you'll find yourself at the end of the road looking back with nothing but regret. Think about this. If you died today, would your life feel like a success, or would it feel like a missed opportunity? Would you feel like you made a real impact, or would you feel like you wasted it all on comfort and convenience? The reason why this question is so powerful is because it's a reminder that time is finite. We are all living on borrowed time. Every second we take for granted could be the one we'll never get back. And yet so many of us live as though we have endless time to waste. Here's the thing, most people won't get to their deathbed and regret the things they didn't buy or the places they didn't visit. What they'll regret are the things they didn't do, the chances they didn't take, the risks they didn't embrace. They'll regret the dreams they didn't chase, the potential they didn't tap into, and the life they didn't live fully. But the truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to look back with regret. You don't have to feel like your life was a joke, a series of missed chances and what ifs. You have the power to change your story right now. The first step is realizing that life isn't something you should take for granted. Life is a series of moments, each one leading to the next. Every moment counts, and every decision you make today shapes the person you become tomorrow. The only thing that matters is the choices you make right now. Most people waste their time. They put off the things that matter and fill their days with distractions. They think that the path to success is long and hard, so they delay it. But in reality, the path is built with every small action you take today. It's not about the big leaps. It's about the small, consistent steps that add up over time. You don't need to change the world in a single day. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you do need to start right now, today. The longer you wait, the longer you put off what matters, the further you push yourself away from the life you want to live. You're not guaranteed another chance. The only moment you truly have is right now. The decisions you make today will set the tone for your future. So ask yourself, what are you doing with this moment? Are you building the life you want, or are you wasting it, letting time slip through your fingers like sand in the wind? The beautiful thing about life is that it's always up to you. No one is in control of your destiny but you. And yet so many people give that control away. They let fear, doubt, and insecurity dictate their actions. They let others' opinions shape their path. They let their comfort zone keep them stagnant, waiting for the right time to act. But there's no right time. There's only now. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, or your doubts. It just keeps moving forward with or without you. You have to decide what you want your legacy to be. Will it be a legacy of action and purpose, or will it be a legacy of missed opportunities and regret? You are the creator of your future. The decisions you make today will define who you become tomorrow. And here's the key. If you want to change your life, you have to stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment will never come. What you need to do is take imperfect action now. Every action you take, no matter how small, gets you closer to the person you want to be. Every time you push through fear, every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're building the life you desire. Don't wait for some future version of yourself to make things happen. That version of you doesn't exist yet. The only version of you that matters is the one in front of you right now, making decisions and taking action. So ask yourself once more, if you died today, would your life be a joke? Or would it be a testament to your courage, your determination, and your willingness to take risks and live fully? The answer is in your hands. Time is running out. The question is, what are you going to do with it? There's a dangerous myth that we often hear, I'll start tomorrow. It's a trap, one that sounds so innocent yet holds the power to keep you stuck in the same place for years. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you're robbing your future self of the chance to live the life you want. The truth is, tomorrow is a lie. It doesn't exist. The only time that matters is right now. You can't control the future, but you have total control over this moment. Your decisions today will shape your life tomorrow. So why wait for perfect conditions or for the right time to act? Perfect doesn't exist. The best time to start is always now. Think about how often we tell ourselves that we'll be ready one day. Once I learn more, once I have more money, once the kids are older, once I feel better, once I get over this fear. But guess what? The fear never goes away. The perfect moment never comes. And most importantly, the longer you wait, the further you push yourself away from the life you could be living. Success doesn't wait for the stars to align. It doesn't wait for things to be perfect or easy. Success rewards those who push through the discomfort, who act even when they're scared, and who refuse to let fear dictate their choices. It's the action takers, not the waiters, who get to the life they want. And the action doesn't have to be big. Small, consistent steps are what move the needle forward. You don't need a massive leap, you just need the courage to take that first step. Too often we let our fear of failure stop us. We think that if we make a mistake or fail, it's the end of the world. But failure is not the end. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. Every successful person you admire has failed countless times. What makes them different isn't that they're perfect. It's that they got up every time they fell down. They didn't wait for the fear to vanish. They acted anyway. Every time you choose to stay in your comfort zone, you are choosing a life of mediocrity. Comfort is a silent killer. It keeps you in the same place, running on autopilot, never moving toward the life you dream of. But the moment you step out of that comfort zone, everything changes. Your mind starts to work differently. It starts to see opportunities, solutions, and pathways that weren't visible before. You're able to break free from the prison of your own making. So why do so many people stay stuck? It's simple. They let their comfort zone define them. They allow fear to win. They tell themselves that the price of growth is too high, that the discomfort of change is too much to bear. But what they don't realize is that the true cost of staying where they are is far greater than the cost of stepping into the unknown. The reality is, the only way to achieve anything meaningful is through action. Nothing happens without it. You can dream all day long, but dreams alone don't pay the bills. You can wish for success, but wishing doesn't lead to results. Action leads to results. Action is what turns dreams into reality. You have to stop waiting for permission. You don't need someone else's approval to live the life you want. The world doesn't owe you anything. You have to go out and create it for yourself. And that means taking risks. It means being willing to fail. It means being willing to make mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Think about the people who have accomplished great things. They didn't wait for the right time. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They acted in the face of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. They pushed through the obstacles even when they didn't know exactly how things would turn out. And that's what made them successful. They took action. Now, I'm not saying that action means rushing into things without thought. I'm not talking about blind, reckless action. I'm talking about taking thoughtful, deliberate steps forward, even when you don't know everything, even when you're scared. Take action. Each small step will lead you closer to your goal. It will give you the momentum you need to keep going. The most successful people are not those who make the fewest mistakes. They're the ones who keep taking action despite making mistakes. They keep moving forward because they understand that progress comes from doing, not thinking. And doing doesn't always mean getting everything perfect. It means starting. It means trying. It means stepping outside of your comfort zone, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's important to understand that failure is not something to fear. In fact, it's something to embrace, because every failure is a lesson. Every setback teaches you something. It shows you what doesn't work so you can adjust and try again. But if you never take action, you'll never learn, you'll never grow, and you'll never reach the success you're capable of. Here's the bottom line. Life doesn't wait for you. Time is ticking. The clock is always moving forward, and every second you hesitate is a second you'll never get back. So the question is, are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to take action? Are you going to keep talking about what you want to do, or are you going to start doing it? You're the only one who can answer that question. But remember this, you don't have time to waste. The world is full of people who will keep waiting for the perfect moment, but those who take action now are the ones who will make an impact. They're the ones who will look back on their lives with pride, not regret. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay stuck in the cycle of waiting, or are you going to take that first step today? The choice is yours. But remember, the time is now. Don't let it slip away. It's easy to look at the world around you and blame everything and everyone for your situation. It's easy to say, if only I had more money, or if only I was born into a different family, or if only I had more opportunities. But here's the truth. Blaming external circumstances for where you are in life is a trap. It keeps you stuck, powerless, and in a constant state of frustration. The reality is, you are the one in control. You are the one responsible for your life. No one else is coming to save you. No one else is going to fix your problems. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can take back the power and start changing your life. It's all about taking responsibility. When you take responsibility for your life, you acknowledge that the power to change is in your hands. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. The present moment is where your power lies, and it's up to you to take the actions that will create the future you desire. Every decision, every action, every choice you make is a reflection of your responsibility to yourself. You can't keep blaming your circumstances for where you are. Life isn't always fair. It's never going to be perfect. There are always going to be challenges, setbacks, and roadblocks. But it's how you respond to these challenges that makes all the difference. It's about how you handle adversity and whether you choose to take action despite the obstacles in front of you. It's easy to feel like a victim in this world, to think that everything is stacked against you. But the truth is, playing the victim card is a mindset that keeps you stuck. When you constantly blame others or your circumstances for your struggles, you give up your power. You become passive, waiting for someone or something outside of you to change. And that's where the problem lies. Nothing outside of you is going to change unless you do. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that no matter how hard life may be, you have the ability to change it. You may not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can control your attitude, your work ethic, your mindset, and your choices. The world may not always give you what you want, but it will always give you the opportunity to rise, to grow, and to push through. One of the biggest barriers to taking responsibility is the fear of failure. We all have this fear, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of making a mistake. But you need to realize that failure isn't the end. It's part of the journey. Failure is how you learn, grow, and improve. When you take responsibility for your life, you embrace failure as a stepping stone to success. You don't let it defeat you. You use it to fuel your determination and drive. By taking responsibility, you are no longer a passenger in your own life. You're in the driver's seat. You take control of the wheel. You make the decisions. You set the course. And even if you don't know exactly where you're going, taking responsibility means you are committed to figuring it out. You are committed to getting there, no matter how long it takes or how many detours you face along the way. This mindset is empowering. It gives you freedom, because when you take responsibility for your life, you realize that you are not bound by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes or failures. Your future is wide open. It's full of possibilities. And you are the one who gets to decide which direction you want to go. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable in life has done so because they took responsibility for their action. They didn't wait for the world to change for them. They didn't wait for their circumstances to magically improve. They took control. They understood that in order to change their lives, they had to change themselves first. It's also important to understand that taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. Doesn't mean you can't ask for help, seek guidance, or lean on others when needed. But at the end of the day, you are the one who has to make the decisions. You are the one who has to put in the effort. You are the one who has to keep moving forward no matter how tough it gets. Taking responsibility means giving up the excuses. It means stopping the blaming. It means taking ownership of your actions and your decisions. It means looking in the mirror and saying, "This is my life, and I am the one who is in charge of it." It's about realizing that everything you've experienced, everything you've gone through is a result of your own choices. And now it's time to make new choices, better choices. The more you embrace responsibility, the more you realize that you have the power to change your life. It's all within you. You have the strength, the drive, and the ability to create the life you want. But it starts with taking full ownership of your actions, your decisions, and your future. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to make things happen for you. You stop expecting someone else to fix your problems or to give you opportunities. You realize that you are the only one who can make things happen. You are the one who has the power to change everything. And here's the most powerful part. Once you take responsibility, you'll start to see things shift in your life. Opportunities will start to show up. People will start to take notice. You'll begin to attract the right circumstances because you're no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You're making life happen for you. So stop waiting. Stop blaming. Take responsibility. It's the first step toward changing everything. It's the first step toward taking back control of your life, and it's the first step toward creating the future you deserve. The power is yours. It's always been yours. All you have to do is take responsibility and start acting on it. What will you do today? Will you continue to blame, or will you take full responsibility for your life? The choice is yours. There's something we often overlook in the pursuit of success, something so simple yet so powerful that it can change everything. It's called discipline, and it's the foundation of all greatness. It's the secret that the most successful people in the world rely on to get where they are. But here's the truth. Discipline is hard. It requires sacrifice. It requires pushing yourself when everything inside you wants to quit. But the payoff is worth it. Without discipline, Dreams are just wishes. Without discipline, plans remain ideas on paper. Without discipline, everything we want to achieve will stay out of reach. Why? Because discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's about staying focused, staying committed, and showing up every day no matter what. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification. We want results fast. We want success now. But that's not how life works. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, steady climb. It's a journey that requires daily effort. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But it is achievable for anyone who is willing to put in the work. The key is consistency. This is where most people fail. They get excited about a goal, start strong, and then fade away when things get tough. They lose motivation, and before they know it, they've quit. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is often just one thing: staying consistent even when the going gets tough. Consistency is the true measure of success. It's not about making huge leaps every day. It's about making small, deliberate steps toward your goal day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about building momentum. And when you build momentum, you'll find that things start to flow. The work becomes easier, the results start to show, and you'll realize that you're closer to your goal than you ever imagined. But there's a deeper reason why discipline and consistency are so crucial. They shape who you become in the process. When you commit to doing the hard work day in and day out, you build character, you build resilience, you develop a mindset that refuses to give up, and that mindset is what will carry you through the toughest times. Think about the times in your life when you've accomplished something truly meaningful. Was it easy? Did it happen in a few days or even a few weeks? Probably not. Most likely, it took months or even years of consistent effort, even when you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And yet, you pushed through. You kept going. And when you finally reached your goal, the reward was worth every ounce of effort. Now imagine applying that same level of discipline and consistency to every area of your life. Imagine making the decision to work on your goals every single day, no matter how tired you are, no matter how many obstacles get in your way. What could you achieve? The possibilities are endless. The power of discipline is not just in achieving your goals, though. It's in who you become in the process. When you commit to being disciplined, you learn to control your impulses, manage your time, and prioritize your actions. You begin to value long-term success over short-term pleasure. And this mindset is what separates the winners from the losers. Consistency means showing up even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through the discomfort and staying focused on the bigger picture. It's about recognizing that the path to success is not a straight line. It's filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But consistency means you keep moving forward no matter what. Think about the habits you already have in your life, whether they're positive or negative. They form because of consistency. If you consistently eat junk food every day, guess what? You'll develop the habit of unhealthy eating. If you consistently skip your workouts, you'll develop the habit of inactivity. But on the flip side, if you consistently work hard, stay focused, and make the right decisions every day, you'll develop the habits of a successful person. The key is to make those habits positive. You must commit to showing up for yourself, even when the world doesn't seem to notice. You must create a routine that supports your goals, whether they're big or small, and you must trust that every small step you take is leading you closer to the life you want to create. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed to getting better every day. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about knowing that you will face challenges and setbacks, but choosing to keep going anyway. Every time you push through those moments, you build strength, you build confidence, and you build a life that's worth living. There will be days when you want to quit, days when it feels like the work is too much, or when you doubt whether it's even worth it. But those are the days that matter the most, because it's on those days that your true character is built. It's on those days that you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving greatness. Discipline isn't just something you do, it's something you become. It's about cultivating a mindset that refuses to be swayed by emotions or circumstances. It's about making the decision to push forward no matter what. The more disciplined you become, the more you'll see results. The more consistent you are, the closer you'll get to your dreams. The journey may be tough, but that's what makes the rewards so sweet. The effort, the sacrifices, the hard work. It will all pay off in ways you can't even imagine right now. But it starts with the decision to show up every day. It starts with the decision to be disciplined and consistent. And when you make that decision, nothing will be able to stop you from achieving your dreams. So make the choice today. Choose discipline, choose consistency, choose to show up even when it's hard, and know that with every step you take, you're getting closer to the life you've always dreamed of. Failure, it's a word that many of us dread. The thought of failing makes our hearts race and our palms sweat. We fear it, avoid it, and sometimes even let it control us. But here's the harsh reality. Failure is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because failure is not the end of the road, it's the beginning of something greater. The truth is, everyone who has ever achieved anything significant has faced failure. They've failed countless times before they finally succeeded. In fact, failure is often the most important lesson we can learn on the path to success. It's the test that separates those who are serious about their goals from those who are just playing around. Think about the most successful people in the world, the entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, and leaders. They didn't get to where they are by avoiding failure. They got there by learning from it. They embraced failure as part of the journey, not as a setback. And it was through these failures that they learned the lessons that helped them rise higher than they ever dreamed possible. When you fail, you're not failing as a person. You're simply learning a lesson. You're gaining experience that will help you do better next time. Every time you fall, you're learning how to get up stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. Failure teaches you what works and what doesn't, and without it, you would never truly grow. But it's not just about learning from failure, it's about failing forward. This means not staying down when you fall. It means using your failures as stepping stones to build a stronger, better version of yourself. When you fail forward, you understand that failure is not a reason to quit, it's simply a part of the process. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself, that you're taking risks, and that you're willing to grow. Look at the greatest inventions, the most incredible achievements, and the boldest businesses. None of them happened without failure. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, famously failed thousands of times before he found success. Michael Jordan, often considered the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from the company he created, yet they didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. When you fail, you have two choices. You can let it defeat you, or you can let it fuel your fight. The choice is yours. The key to success is not avoiding failure, it's learning how to handle it when it happens. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid failure at all costs, but the ones who keep going despite it. Think about your own life. How many times have you tried something and failed? Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or even a goal you set for yourself. How did you react? Did you let that failure define you? Or did you pick yourself up and keep moving forward? If you've ever failed and gotten back up, you've already learned a valuable lesson. You've learned resilience. You've learned perseverance. You've learned that failure is not the end of the world. It's just a temporary setback. And every time you fail and get back up, you build mental toughness. But this doesn't happen overnight. The process of embracing failure and using it to propel you forward takes time. It takes practice. It takes a mindset shift. You have to learn to look at failure through a different lens. Instead of seeing it as something that's happening to you, see it as something that's happening for you. It's giving you the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. The fear of failure holds so many people back from reaching their full potential. They'd rather stay in their comfort zones, where it's safe, than take risks and face the possibility of failure. But here's the thing, comfort zones are prisons. They trap you in mediocrity. They keep you from experiencing the greatness that lies beyond your fears. The truth is, the more you fail, the more you grow. Each failure brings you one step closer to success. Each failure gives you the opportunity to refine your approach and get closer to your goal. And the more you fail forward, the more unstoppable you become. So what do you do when you fail? Don't sit there wallowing in self-pity. Don't give up. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What's the lesson here? What do I need to change or improve? Take that lesson and use it to fuel your next attempt. Failure also builds humility. It keeps you grounded and reminds you that no one is invincible. No one is immune to setbacks. It's easy to get caught up in your own success, to start thinking that you've got it all figured out. But failure has a way of humbling you, of reminding you that you're always learning, always growing, and that you haven't arrived yet. If you want to succeed, you have to change your relationship with failure. Stop seeing it as a roadblock and start seeing it as a road sign, a sign that you're on the right path, that you're pushing yourself, that you're trying new things. When you start embracing failure, you'll stop letting it stop you. Instead, you'll use it as a stepping stone to rise higher than you ever thought possible. In the end, success is not about avoiding failure. It's about how you handle it. It's about how you bounce back from setbacks, how you keep going when the road gets tough, and how you use failure as fuel to push yourself even harder. The greatest successes in life are often built on a foundation of failure. And once you embrace that, you'll be unstoppable. So the next time you fail, don't be afraid. Don't run from it. Don't let it define you. Instead, stand tall, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Because the only true failure is the failure to try. We all have dreams. We all have goals. We have ambitions that drive us, that push us to keep moving forward. But dreams alone won't get you there. The path to success isn't built on hope alone. It's built on discipline and consistency. Think about it for a moment. How many people have had big dreams, only to give up when things didn't go as planned? How many people start something with excitement, but when the initial rush fades, they lose interest, they stop showing up? The reality is, without discipline, dreams remain nothing more than wishes. Discipline is what separates those who make it from those who don't. It's the ability to do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's getting up early when you'd rather stay in bed. It's working late when you'd rather relax. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you going, even when motivation fades. Think about athletes at the top of their game. They don't train only when they feel motivated. They train every day, no matter how they feel. They push themselves to the limit, consistently showing up, putting in the work, even when there's no one watching. Their success isn't about having a burst of motivation one day. It's about consistently doing the work day in and day out. But it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart. Discipline is about making the right choices, even when those choices aren't easy. It's about sticking to a plan, even when you're tempted to take shortcuts. It's about staying focused, even when distractions are all around you. You see, consistency is where the magic happens. Consistency is what turns small, everyday actions into massive results. It's the daily decisions, the little habits, the things you do repeatedly that add up over time. It's the effort you put in today that will pay off tomorrow, next month, and even years from now. It doesn't matter if you're building a business, training for a marathon, or learning a new skill. Success doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from thousands of small, consistent actions. It's the discipline to show up, even when you don't see immediate results. It's trusting the process, even when it feels like nothing is happening. This is where most people fail. They get discouraged after a few weeks or a few months because they don't see the results they expected. They lose sight of the bigger picture and give up. But the truth is, success is often closer than you think. It's just that the process is slow. The results aren't instant, but that doesn't mean they're not coming. If you stay disciplined, if you stay consistent, you'll start to see the results, even if it takes time. Success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And the only way to finish the race is by showing up every single day. The more you push, the closer you get to your goal. But it's not always easy. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll feel like giving up. You'll face obstacles, you'll face doubts, but it's in those moments that discipline matters the most. When you feel like quitting, discipline is what keeps you going. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is a habit just like any other, and the good news is you can build it. Every time you choose to do what you know is right, instead of what's easy or comfortable, you build discipline. Every time you make a decision to stay focused and keep pushing, you get stronger. But let's be clear, discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about making the right choices over time. It's about sticking with it even when things aren't going perfectly. It's about recognizing that every small step forward is still progress. It's about not letting setbacks or mistakes stop you from continuing to move forward. Consistency is where true growth happens. When you keep showing up, even when the results aren't visible yet, that's when transformation occurs. It's the compound effect, the small actions that, when done consistently, build up over time and create massive change. Consider the journey of building muscle. You don't get stronger overnight. You don't wake up one day and find that you've gained 20 pounds of muscle. But when you lift weights consistently, over time, your body starts to change. It's the same with anything in life. It's the small, consistent actions that lead to big results. And this applies to everything, whether you want to improve your health, achieve your financial goals, or build better relationships. Consistency is the key. It's the small decisions you make each day that determine where you'll be tomorrow, next month, and next year. You don't have to make drastic changes overnight. You don't have to completely transform your life in a single day. But you do have to take consistent action. You do have to be disciplined, and over time, those small actions will lead to huge results. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of instant gratification. We live in a world where everything is fast, where we expect quick results. But real success doesn't work that way. Real success takes time. It takes consistency. So ask yourself, what are you doing every day to move closer to your goals? Are you showing up even when you don't feel like it? Are you staying disciplined even when it's hard? Because those who succeed are the ones who show up every day, who keep pushing even when things get tough. If you want to achieve greatness, you have to commit to the process. You have to trust that the small actions you take every day will lead to something bigger. And when you do, when you stay disciplined and consistent, you'll find that success is not as far away as it seems. It's closer than you think, waiting for you to take that next step. Discipline and consistency are the building blocks of success. Without them, your dreams remain just that, dreams. But when you make the decision to commit, to show up, and to stay disciplined, you unlock the power to turn those dreams into reality. Keep going, keep showing up, and success will come. Every journey towards success demands sacrifices. Nothing worth having comes without effort. We all want the results, the reward, the recognition, the success, but how many of us are willing to put in the work to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve them? Think about it. Success is not given, it's earned. Every person who has ever accomplished something great has had to give up something along the way. And yet many of us hesitate when faced with the reality that we must make sacrifices to reach our goals. But sacrifice doesn't have to be a scary word. It's not about losing something that matters. It's about choosing to give up things that don't serve you in the pursuit of what you truly want. It's about prioritizing what truly matters in the long run. Sacrifice is the difference between wanting something and being willing to do what it takes to get it. It's about waking up early to work on your dreams, even when you'd rather sleep in. It's about saying no to short-term pleasures in order to build long-term success. It's about choosing growth over comfort. People often say they want success, but the reality is that success requires discomfort. It requires pushing past what feels easy, what feels familiar, and doing the hard things that others. Most people are caught up in the temporary joys of life, socializing, entertainment, relaxation, but those things don't bring real fulfillment. Success comes from the sacrifices made along the way. When you make sacrifices, you free yourself from the distractions that keep you from your goals. Every time you choose to focus, to push aside distractions, to stay disciplined, you are sacrificing short-term desires for long-term rewards. It's not easy and it's not always fun, but it's necessary. Think about the story of anyone who has achieved greatness. Whether it's a famous athlete, a successful entrepreneur, or someone who's made a name for themselves in any field, they didn't get there by choosing comfort. They got there by choosing to make sacrifices when it mattered. They gave up their free time. They gave up weekends. They sacrificed sleep, comfort, and sometimes even relationships to pursue their dreams. But each sacrifice made them stronger. Each one brought them closer to their ultimate goal. And it's not just about physical sacrifices. Sometimes the hardest sacrifices are mental. It's the ability to let go of self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty. It's the ability to quiet the negative voices in your head that say, you can't do it, and instead listen to the inner voice that says, you can do this. It's the mental sacrifice of choosing persistence over giving up, of choosing to believe in yourself when the world around you doubts you. This is where many people fail. They're not willing to let go of their old habits. They're not willing to break free from the familiar patterns that hold them back. But success isn't built on maintaining the status quo. Success comes from breaking free from those old habits, from doing things differently, from embracing new ways of thinking and working. Sacrifice also means letting go of toxic relationships. It means walking away from the people who drain your energy, who don't support your growth, and who hold you back from becoming the best version of yourself. It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who lift you up. But sacrifice isn't just about what you give up. It's also about what you gain. Every sacrifice you make is an investment in your future. It's a step towards the person you want to become, the life you want to live. Yes, you might give up time, comfort, or temporary pleasures, but in return, you gain something far more valuable: progress, growth, and the satisfaction of knowing you're on the path to achieving your dreams. We're all faced with choices every single day. The question is, are you willing to sacrifice the easy path for the one that leads to greatness? Are you willing to give up the fleeting pleasures of today for the lasting rewards of tomorrow? The truth is, success requires you to make those hard choices. It requires you to sacrifice the things that are holding you back. Think about the bigger picture. If you truly want success, if you want to live a life that's different from everyone else's, then you have to be willing to make sacrifices that others aren't. You have to make the tough calls. You have to step out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, and be prepared to do what others won't. The sacrifices you make today will pay off in the future. It's not about immediate gratification, it's about investing in yourself. Every time you choose to sacrifice something, whether it's your time, your comfort, or your energy, you're building the foundation for your future. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to achieve everything they want while others struggle, the answer lies in their ability to sacrifice. It's about making tough decisions and staying committed to the process. Success isn't about luck or chance. It's about consistency, sacrifice, and hard work. The reality is, there's always going to be a cost to achieving your goals. You can't expect to live an extraordinary life while doing what everyone else does. If you want success, you need to be willing to do what others won't. You need to be willing to sacrifice what's comfortable, what's easy, and what's familiar. This doesn't mean you have to give up everything. It's about finding balance. It's about choosing what matters most and making the necessary sacrifices to get there. Success isn't about living a life of deprivation. It's about living a life of purpose. It's about giving up the things that don't serve you so you can fully embrace the things that do. So ask yourself this: what are you willing to sacrifice for your success? What are you willing to let go of in order to move closer to your dreams? Success is not just about what you gain, it's about what you're willing to give up. Every sacrifice you make brings you one step closer to the life you truly want to live. Are you ready to make that sacrifice? Are you ready to choose your future over your present? Because the reality is, the sooner you make that choice, the sooner you'll start seeing the results. Keep moving forward, keep sacrificing, keep pushing. Your dreams are waiting for you. In the quest for success, one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is focus. Focus is the ability to block out distractions, to tune out the noise, and to zero in on what truly matters. It's what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who are constantly chasing them but never quite reaching them. Focus is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be trained. It doesn't come naturally to everyone, but the good news is that it can be developed. The key is discipline, an unwavering commitment to staying on track, even when it's difficult, even when distractions are tempting, and even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. We all experience moments when we're fired up and ready to take on the world, but those moments don't last forever. What truly matters is what you do when the initial excitement wears off. That's where discipline comes in. It's about showing up every day, doing the work even when you don't feel like it, and sticking to the plan regardless of the obstacles. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. It's about building good habits and staying committed to those habits even when you're not seeing immediate results. Discipline means doing the right thing even when no one is watching, even when it seems like no one is paying attention. It's about doing what needs to be done even when it's hard. Focus and discipline are intertwined. Without focus, discipline becomes aimless, and without discipline, focus is easily broken. When you focus on your goals and commit to the process, you are training your mind to push through challenges, to stay determined, and to keep going even when the path is tough. It's not about avoiding distractions, it's about choosing not to be distracted. One of the hardest challenges in today's world is dealing with constant distractions. We live in an age where we are bombarded with notifications, messages, and endless information. Everywhere you turn, there's something demanding your attention. But the more you allow these distractions to control you, the further you move away from your goals. Focus is about learning to tune out the noise and giving your full attention to the task at hand. It's about becoming aware of where your energy is going and intentionally redirecting it toward what matters. Think about the most successful people in any field. What sets them apart is their ability to concentrate. They understand that focus is not a one-time effort, it's a daily commitment. They set clear, actionable goals and stay laser focused on achieving them. The ability to block out distractions and maintain a strong sense of discipline is what enables them to keep moving forward even in the face of setbacks. When you focus on your goals, you also become more intentional with your time. Time is a limited resource, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. Successful people understand the value of time and they prioritize it accordingly. They don't waste time on things that don't bring them closer to their dreams. Instead, they invest their time in activities that move them toward their goals, whether it's working on a skill, building a business, or improving their mindset. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of everyday life, to feel like there's never enough time to get everything done. But the truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. What separates successful people from those who struggle is how they choose to use their time. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about making intentional choices and focusing your efforts on what matters most. A big part of focus is learning to say no. Saying no to distractions, saying no to things that don't align with your goals, and saying no to the people or situations that drain your energy. It's not easy to turn down opportunities or requests, but sometimes the best way to move forward is by saying no. Saying no is a powerful act of self-discipline. It's a way of protecting your time and energy so you can focus on what truly matters. The ability to focus also requires the courage to step outside your comfort zone. It's easy to focus on things that are familiar, but growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push past your limits, and when you take on things that scare you. The more you focus on overcoming challenges, the stronger your discipline becomes. You begin to build resilience, and the fear of failure or discomfort becomes less daunting. You see, success is not just about talent or intelligence. It's about the willingness to put in the effort, to stay focused on your goals, and to maintain the discipline to follow through no matter what. It's about building a mindset that is relentless, that doesn't get swayed by setbacks, and that stays on course even when things get tough. The road to success is never a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and obstacles that will test your focus and discipline. But the key is to keep going, to stay committed to your vision, and to never let distractions pull you off track. Focus means keeping your eyes on the prize no matter how many shiny objects or obstacles come your way. It's also about understanding that success is a process. It's not a destination, but a journey. Every small task you complete, every day you stay disciplined, brings you one step closer to your ultimate goal. It's easy to get discouraged when the results don't come quickly, but remember that every moment you stay focused and disciplined is an investment in your future. It's the accumulation of these small actions that will lead to big results. So, ask yourself, are you focused on what truly matters? Are you using your time wisely, staying disciplined, and doing the work even when it's hard? The power to achieve your dreams is in your hands. It's up to you to decide how you use your time and energy. If you want to succeed, you must be willing to stay focused, to commit to the process, and to never give up on your goals. Focus and discipline are the keys to unlocking your potential and turning your dreams into reality. Do you ever feel like life is happening to you, not for you? Like everything is out of your control and there's nothing you can do to change it? It's a powerful mindset that many people fall into, but the truth is, you hold more power than you think. Your life, your actions, and your outcomes are largely the result of the choices you make. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering things you can do. When you take ownership of your actions, your decisions, and the direction your life is going, you take back control. No longer are you a passenger on this ride. You're the driver, the one in control of your own destiny. It's easy to blame circumstances, the people around you, or the world for your struggles. We all do it at some point. Life throws challenges at us, and it's natural to feel frustrated, even helpless at times. But staying stuck in a victim mindset only holds you back. Blaming external factors for your situation takes away your power. It removes your ability to change, grow, and improve. When you take responsibility for your life, you acknowledge that the power to change is within you. You don't wait for things to happen, you make things happen. You stop making excuses and start making progress. The moment you stop blaming others and the circumstances, you open up a world of possibilities. You recognize that everything that happens in your life is a result of your own choices. And while you can't control everything, you can control how you respond to the challenges that come your way. Think about the people you admire, the ones you look up to, the ones who seem to always be moving forward, always achieving. What do they all have in common? They take responsibility for their lives. They don't wait for someone else to make their dreams come true. They understand that no one else can build their success for them. The road might be tough, but they face it with strength, resilience, and determination. They don't make excuses. They make moves. Taking responsibility doesn't mean that life will always be easy, far from it, but it does mean you've accepted that challenges are a part of the process. And when challenges come, you don't crumble, you rise. You don't complain, you find solutions. It's about adopting the mindset that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, learn, and become stronger. No matter what life throws at you, you have the power to control your reactions and determine the outcome. Taking responsibility also means acknowledging your mistakes. We all make them. No one is perfect, but it's what you do with those mistakes that matters. You can either let them define you, or you can learn from them and use them as stepping stones to success. The people who succeed are the ones who don't shy away from their failures, but embrace them as a part of their growth. They accept responsibility for their errors, learn from them, and move forward with newfound knowledge. Another key aspect of taking responsibility is making decisions. Every single day, you're faced with choices. Some of them are small, others are monumental, but all of them shape the direction of your life. When you take responsibility for your life, you commit to making conscious decisions that align with your goals and values. You stop letting life happen to you and start actively participating in it. You don't let indecision or fear hold you back. You take charge of your future and begin making decisions that move you closer to the life you want. In order to take responsibility, you have to let go of the need for perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect life or a perfect person. Perfection is a trap that keeps you stuck. It paralyzes you, makes you second guess every decision, and prevents you from taking action. Accept that you won't always have all the answers, that mistakes will happen, and that things won't always go as planned. But the more you take responsibility, the more you'll learn, adapt, and keep moving forward. You'll begin to see that failure is not the end, but just a part of the journey. Taking responsibility for your life is not just about your actions, it's about your mindset. When you embrace this power, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the architect of your life. You realize that everything you've achieved and everything you're going to achieve starts with you. Your thoughts, your choices, your actions. They all contribute to the reality you create. So, take ownership of your thoughts. Take ownership of your actions. Take ownership of the direction your life is headed. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid responsibility, but the ones who embrace it. They understand that the key to success is not in waiting for life to hand them something, but in actively creating their own opportunities. They don't wait for someone to give them permission to succeed. They give themselves permission. They don't blame their circumstances. They change them. The same power is within you, but it requires you to take responsibility for everything in your life. It requires you to stop making excuses and start taking action. The responsibility you take today will shape your tomorrow. The choices you make now will determine the kind of person you become and the kind of life you live. If you want to live a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success, you have to own every part of it. Own your decisions. Own your actions. Own your failures and learn from them. Own your victories and celebrate them. Life is too short to play the blame game. When you take full responsibility for your life, you unlock your true potential. You become the creator of your own future. Are you ready to take that responsibility? Are you ready to step into your power and take control of your life? The choice is yours. The life you've always wanted is waiting for you. But it all begins with you taking responsibility. Embrace it, own it, and let it fuel you to live the life you deserve. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly while others struggle to even get started? It's not about luck, talent, or chance. It's about something far more powerful: consistency and discipline. These two forces are the foundation of success, the engines that drive you forward, no matter the obstacle. Consistency is the key to progress. It's the secret that makes the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who never see them come true. We all have goals, desires, and aspirations, but without consistent action, those goals will remain just that: dreams. You can't expect to reach your destination if you're not willing to put in the effort day after day without fail. The power of consistency lies in its ability to compound. Small everyday actions may not seem significant in the moment, but over time they build momentum. It's like this snowball effect. What starts as a small, simple task, repeated consistently, grows into something much greater. This is the magic of consistency. It's not about doing everything perfectly or achieving massive success right away. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and making progress. No matter how small, it seemed. Look at any successful person in the world. Behind their achievements, you'll find consistency. They didn't get where they are by taking one big leap. They got there by taking consistent steps, one after the other. Every single day, they made a choice to keep moving forward, to stay on track, even when it felt tough. The key to their success wasn't extraordinary talent or luck, but the discipline to stay committed to their path. They knew that small, consistent actions over time would eventually lead to big results. Discipline, however, is the fuel that powers consistency. It's the inner strength that keeps you going when the excitement fades, when the initial enthusiasm wears off, and when life throws distractions your way. Discipline is what keeps you grounded, focused, and determined even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you'd rather do something else. Without discipline, consistency becomes much harder to maintain. It's the difference between saying, I'll work on my goals tomorrow, and saying, I'll get up and work on them today, no matter what. Discipline is what turns intention into action. It's what keeps you from making excuses, from falling into the trap of procrastination, and from giving up when things get tough. Think about a time when you stuck with something, even when it wasn't easy. Maybe you were working on a personal goal, a fitness routine, or a project at work. Did you notice that the more consistently you worked at it, the easier it became? That's the power of discipline. At first, it might feel hard, but over time, it becomes second nature. Discipline transforms effort into habit and habit into success. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency and discipline is that they help you build resilience. When you stay committed to something over time, you develop a mental toughness that's hard to break. Every time you push through a tough day, every time you choose to keep going despite setbacks, you strengthen your ability to handle challenges. You become less likely to quit when things don't go as planned because you've trained yourself to keep going no matter what. Discipline also helps you stay focused on the long-term picture. It's easy to get distracted by short-term pleasures, by the immediate gratification of doing something fun or easy. But success rarely comes from the things that offer instant rewards. It comes from the things that require delayed gratification, the things that demand hard work, patience, and sacrifice. Discipline keeps your eyes on the bigger picture, the long-term goal, and reminds you that the rewards will come as long as you stay committed to the journey. But let's be clear, consistency and discipline aren't just about pushing through for the sake of it. They're not about being rigid or perfectionistic. They're about doing what's necessary, not for some future reward, but because you know it's the right thing to do. You take action not because it's easy, but because it's part of the person you want to become. This is where discipline becomes a lifestyle, not just a temporary effort. It's about making disciplined choices in every area of your life. From the small decisions, like waking up early, to the bigger ones, like sticking with your long-term goals. Discipline is the thread that weaves everything together. It's the backbone of your daily routine, the thing that keeps you on track, even when life tries to pull you off course. Consistency and discipline are also powerful because they build self-confidence. Each time you honor your commitments to yourself, each time you do the thing you said you would do, you reinforce your belief in your ability to succeed. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can be relied upon, and that you have what it takes to achieve your goals. The more you build this trust with yourself, the more unstoppable you become. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike or for everything to be perfect. Motivation will fade and conditions will never be perfect. But if you build a habit of discipline and consistency, you'll find that you don't need motivation to get things done. You do them because it's part of who you are. You do them because you've trained your mind and body to follow through no matter what. The power of consistency and discipline is limitless. They give you the ability to achieve things you once thought were impossible. They make the difference between those who talk about their dreams and those who turn them into reality. When you embrace consistency, when you commit to doing the work every day, and when you build the discipline to keep going, you unlock a level of success that few ever reach. So ask yourself, are you ready to take consistent action and embrace discipline in your life? Are you willing to make the small sacrifices today that will lead to massive rewards tomorrow? The choice is yours. The power is within you. Consistency and discipline are the keys to unlocking your fullest potential. Stay committed and watch as your dreams transform into reality. What if the greatest obstacle standing between you and your dreams is simply how you view yourself? It's easy to underestimate the power of self-belief, yet it's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without belief in yourself, it becomes almost impossible to push through the challenges life throws at you. When you believe in your own abilities, the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. Self-belief isn't something that's always handed to us. It's built step by step through the choices we make and the actions we take. At times, it can feel like an uphill battle, especially when life doesn't seem to go your way. But if you learn to trust in your own abilities, to acknowledge your potential, and to stay firm in your resolve, you unlock an inner strength that no setback can take away from you. One of the most powerful tools you can develop is mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay strong in the face of adversity, to stay focused on your goals even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It's what separates those who give up from those who persevere, those who falter from those who rise. You've likely heard stories of individuals who have faced unimaginable obstacles and yet went on to achieve greatness. What set them apart wasn't just their circumstances, it was their unshakable belief in their ability to overcome whatever came their way. Building mental toughness starts with accepting the fact that challenges are inevitable. No one escapes the hardships of life, whether it's a career setback, personal struggle, or the pressure to meet expectations. Everyone faces moments when it feels like the world is against them. But in these very moments lies the opportunity for growth. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, but it's those who persist, who refuse to let those challenges define them, that ultimately succeed. When you cultivate mental toughness, you begin to view obstacles as opportunities for growth. Each time you face a challenge and push through it, you strengthen your resolve. It's like building muscle. The more you face, the stronger you get. And with time, these once difficult tasks start to seem easier because you've trained your mind to handle adversity with confidence and clarity. One of the keys to building mental toughness is embracing failure. Failure isn't something to be feared. It's an inevitable part of the journey to success. In fact, it's often in our failures that we learn the most valuable lessons. When you fail, you don't lose, you learn. Each failure is a lesson in what works and what doesn't, a chance to refine your approach and become better. The most successful people didn't avoid failure. They embraced it, learned from it, and moved forward. Along with failure comes rejection. Rejection can sting, but it's another critical aspect of growth. Whether it's a job application that doesn't work out, a project that falls short, or someone telling you no, when you've worked hard for a yes, rejection tests your resolve. But just as with failure, rejection is not the end. It's a reminder that you're on the right path, pushing boundaries, challenging yourself, and moving outside of your comfort zone. Rejection is simply feedback, and how you respond to it is what defines you. When you face challenges, failure, or rejection, it's natural to feel doubt creeping in. The key is not to let those feelings dictate your actions. Mental toughness means pushing past those doubts and taking action anyway. It's about continuing to move forward even when you don't feel like it, because you know that success doesn't come to those who wait for perfect conditions. It comes to those who are willing to fight for it, regardless of how they feel in the moment. Believing in yourself also means understanding that no one else is responsible for your success but you. External circumstances, the opinions of others, or the environment you're in can influence you, but they do not define you. Success is a personal journey. When you take responsibility for your own path, you stop waiting for permission to succeed. You take ownership of your choices and you understand that you have the power to shape your own future. You stop waiting for validation and start validating your own worth through action. One way to strengthen your self-belief is to focus on what you can control. Life is unpredictable and many things are beyond our control. But your mindset, your actions, and your persistence are all within your power. When you shift your focus to the things you can control, you stop feeling helpless and start taking proactive steps toward your goals. You begin to realize that your success isn't up to luck, but to the work you put in every single day. Consistency is crucial in developing mental toughness. The more you practice mental toughness, the stronger it becomes. When faced with challenges, you'll be less likely to crumble and more likely to stand tall. You'll begin to see setbacks not as failures, but as natural parts of the process. With every challenge you face and overcome, you build your resilience, and with each victory, no matter how small, you add to your belief in your ability to achieve great things. Don't let the doubts and fears hold you back. The world is full of opportunities, but they won't wait for you to be ready. You have to take action now, even if it's uncomfortable. The discomfort you feel today will fade, but the results of your efforts will last a lifetime. Mental toughness is about pushing through the discomfort, breaking through the limits you've set for yourself, and believing that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. There will be times when it feels like everything is against you, when the road ahead seems too long, and when it's hard to keep going. But remember, this is where growth happens. When you push through those tough moments, when you refuse to quit despite the odds, you come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Every challenge, every struggle is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you have what it takes to succeed. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's a skill, a mindset, and a way of life. And the more you strengthen it, the more unstoppable you become. So, ask yourself, are you willing to trust in yourself, to believe in your abilities, and to stay mentally tough when times get tough? The answer lies within you. The journey starts today. Fear is something everyone experiences, but it doesn't have to control your life. In fact, fear is often the very thing that keeps us from reaching our full potential. It holds us back from taking risks, from chasing after our dreams, and from becoming the best versions of ourselves. But what if fear is not something to avoid, but something to embrace? What if, instead of running from fear, you faced it head on and used it as a tool to propel you forward? The first step to overcoming fear is to understand it. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and it often arises when we face situations where the outcome is unknown. Our brains are wired to protect us, so fear is a way of alerting us to potential danger. But in many cases, the dangers we fear are not as real as we think. More often than not, fear comes from our minds creating worst-case scenarios that never actually come to pass. When we allow fear to dictate our actions, we let our imaginations take control. We begin to think of all the things that could go wrong, the mistakes we might make, and the possible failure that looms ahead. But what if, instead of focusing on what could go wrong, we focused on what could go right? What if we redirected our energy toward envisioning success rather than failure? Fear also often comes from the discomfort of the unknown. Stepping outside of our comfort zones, taking risks, or making changes in our lives can be unsettling, but it is in those moments of discomfort that growth happens. The most successful people didn't achieve greatness by staying in their comfort zones. They stepped into the unknown, faced their fears, and took action. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They took imperfect action and learned along the way. To overcome fear, you have to be willing to take that first step, even if you're not sure what's on the other side. Action is the antidote to fear. The more you act, the more confident you become. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal and further from the grip of fear. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you practice courage, the stronger it gets. Another way to overcome fear is to break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. Sometimes the reason fear overwhelms us is that the task ahead seems too big, too daunting, and too impossible. But when you break it down into smaller pieces, it becomes less intimidating. Focus on the next small step, not the entire journey. Celebrate each small victory along the way, and before you know it, you'll have made more progress than you thought possible. There's also a great power in focusing on the present moment. Often our fears are based on things that might happen in the future, things that haven't even occurred yet. But the present moment is all we truly have control over. By staying focused on what's in front of you now, you minimize the space for fear to take hold. Instead of worrying about what could happen down the road, focus on what you can do today to move closer to your goals. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with can have a major influence on your mindset. If you surround yourself with those who encourage you, who believe in your potential, and who push you to be better, it becomes easier to take action despite fear. Positive influences can help you shift your perspective and remind you that fear is just a feeling, not a reality. Sometimes fear comes from a lack of belief in our own abilities. We fear that we're not good enough, that we're not ready, or that we don't have what it takes. But here's the truth. You are enough. You have everything inside you to succeed. The key is to stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own progress. Everyone has their own journey, and it's okay to take yours at your own pace. Remember that fear is not an indication of weakness. It's a sign that you're about to grow. Every time you face your fears and take action anyway, you become stronger, braver, and more capable. The more you push past your fears, the less control they have over you. Fear only holds power when you allow it to. When you take action, you take the power back. Another essential part of overcoming fear is understanding that failure is not the end. In fact, failure is often just a stepping stone to success. When you fail, you learn. You gain experience and you grow. It's easy to let fear of failure stop you from taking action, but if you can reframe failure as a necessary part of your journey, it becomes less intimidating. Each time you fail, you're one step closer to success because you're learning what doesn't work and getting closer to what will. Don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from pursuing your dreams. The only way to discover what you're truly capable of is to take that first step into the unknown. Will there be challenges along the way? Absolutely. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle is a chance to prove to yourself that you can overcome anything. If fear is holding you back, know that it's not a permanent barrier. You have the power to move past it. It won't happen overnight, but with every step you take, the fear will begin to lose its grip on you. And soon you'll find yourself taking bold action, confident in your abilities, and unstoppable in your pursuit of success. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control you. Use it as a catalyst for change. Use it to fuel your actions, to push you forward, and to drive you toward greatness. When you stop letting fear hold you back, you open the door to a world of possibilities. The life you want is waiting on the other side of your fear. Don't let it keep you from stepping into it. Self-discipline is often seen as the key to success. It's what separates those who achieve their goals from those who let them slip away. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of starting something new, but it's the ability to stay focused and committed that turns dreams into reality. Without self-discipline, even the most brilliant plans will fall short. But how can we cultivate self-discipline, and what role does it play in our journey towards success? First, understand that self-discipline isn't about restricting yourself or punishing your desires. It's about making intentional choices that serve your greater vision, even when it's difficult. It's about saying no to distractions in favor of the things that matter most. When you master self-discipline, you stop giving in to every impulse or temptation. You develop the ability to focus on your long-term goals and make decisions that bring you closer to them. The first step to building self-discipline is knowing what you truly want. It's easy to lose track of what matters when life gets busy. People pull us in different directions, and we are often flooded with distractions. But when you have a clear vision of where you want to go, it becomes easier to say no to things that won't help you get there. Without this vision, you're likely to get caught up in the busyness of life and end up drifting without purpose. Once you know your goals, it's important to break them down into smaller, manageable tasks. Big goals can be overwhelming, and when faced with something that seems too large to tackle, it's easy to procrastinate or give up. But when you break it down into bite-sized chunks, it becomes much easier to take consistent action. You don't need to finish everything at once. The key is to focus on one step at a time. The consistency of small actions adds up, and before you know it, you'll have made more progress than you ever thought possible. Accountability is also a powerful tool for cultivating self-discipline. It's easy to let yourself off the hook when there's no one else to answer to. But when you share your goals with someone, you create a sense of responsibility that can push you to stay on track. It could be a friend, a mentor, or even a group that holds you accountable. Having someone check in on your progress makes it harder to slip into bad habits or procrastinate. Another key to self-discipline is creating routines that support your goals. The more automatic your positive habits become, the less effort it takes to maintain them. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, you don't need to remind yourself to brush your teeth. It's a habit. It's ingrained into your routine. The same goes for any task or habit you want to establish. The more consistent you are, the less you'll need to rely on willpower alone. Start small and build momentum. If you're trying to develop a new habit, like exercising every morning, begin by doing it just a few times a week. Once you've mastered that, add more days, and soon enough, it will become second nature. The key is not to overwhelm yourself with too many changes all at once. Start with one area of your life, and as that becomes more consistent, move on to the next. This gradual approach ensures that your discipline will hold steady over time. In addition to developing good habits, you must also eliminate the temptations that derail you. If you want to stop checking your phone every few minutes or watching TV all night, remove the distractions from your environment. The less you expose yourself to these temptations, the easier it will be to stay disciplined. For example, if you want to stop snacking late at night, don't keep junk food in the house. The fewer temptations you face, the easier it is to make the right choices. Mindset plays a huge role in self-discipline. Often it's our own thoughts that lead us astray. We might tell ourselves, I'll start tomorrow, or I deserve a break. These thoughts are natural, but they can hold us back if we let them. One way to overcome this is by focusing on the rewards of self-discipline. Rather than focusing on the discomfort of the present moment, focus on the bigger picture. Think about the sense of accomplishment you'll feel when you reach your goal. Picture the future benefits of staying disciplined, whether it's better health, financial freedom, or the satisfaction of achieving something meaningful. To further cultivate self-discipline, it's important to understand that you're not always going to be perfect. There will be days when you slip up, when you don't follow through, or when you feel like giving up. That's okay. Self-discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about getting back on track. It's about consistency, not perfection. When you fall short, don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge the setback, learn from it, and move forward. The road to success is rarely a straight path. It's full of twists, turns, and obstacles, but it's your ability to keep going that makes all the difference. Another powerful tool for self-discipline is time management. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when there's too much to do and not enough time. But when you manage your time effectively, you make room for the things that matter. Start by prioritizing your tasks. Identify the most important things that will help you reach your goals, and give those tasks the attention they deserve. Use tools like calendars, to-do lists, or time blocking to stay organized and focused. When you know what you need to do and when you need to do it, procrastination becomes less of an issue. Self-discipline isn't about being rigid or harsh on yourself. It's about making choices that align with your values and goals. It's about being intentional with your actions and making progress, even on the days when it feels hard. Remember that self-discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. And as you develop this skill, you'll find that you not only achieve your goals, but also build a sense of confidence and pride in your ability to stay focused and committed. In the end, self-discipline is the foundation for lasting success. It's what helps you stay consistent when motivation fades, and what enables you to turn your dreams into reality. With self-discipline, you can overcome distractions, break bad habits, and build the life you've always wanted. The journey won't always be easy, but the rewards of staying disciplined are worth every effort. Success is often glorified as a straight path, one that's filled with victories, celebrations, and progress. We tend to focus on the triumphs, the moments when everything seems to go right. But what about the moments when things don't go as planned? What about the times when we fail, when the outcome is not what we expected or hoped for? It's easy to feel discouraged, to give up, or to let those setbacks define us. However, what if I told you that failure is not the end, but actually a necessary part of the journey to success? Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Think about it. Every successful person, every person who has achieved something meaningful, has faced failure at some point. It's inevitable. It's how we learn, grow, and ultimately become better versions of ourselves. Failure teaches us lessons that success can never provide. When things don't go as planned, we are given an opportunity to reflect, adapt, and try again with greater wisdom. One of the most important mindsets to adopt is that failure is temporary. It's a moment, not a definition of who you are. Many times we let a single failure or setback convince us that we're not capable, that we're not good enough, or that success is out of reach. But these thoughts are often based on emotion, not reality. Failure is not an identity. It's just a part of the process. The sooner you realize this, the quicker you can bounce back and keep moving forward. A critical aspect of embracing failure is learning to separate your sense of self-worth from your performance. We tend to tie our value to our achievements, but this can be a dangerous trap. When we fail, we feel as though we've lost part of who we are. But the truth is, our worth is not dependent on our successes or failures. It's based on who we are as individuals, our character, our efforts, and our commitment to improvement. If you can learn to separate your identity from your performance, you'll find it easier to recover from setbacks and keep pushing forward. Another important thing to remember is that failure isn't permanent unless you let it be. Just because something didn't work out this time doesn't mean it won't work out next time. Often the most successful people have failed multiple times before reaching their breakthrough. They didn't let failure stop them. They used it as fuel to try again, to refine their approach and to improve. When you fail, take time to assess what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and what you've learned. Then apply those lessons to the next attempt. The fear of failure can be paralyzing. We are often afraid to take risks because we don't want to fail. We worry about what others might think or what the consequences will be. But in reality, the fear of failure holds us back more than failure itself ever could. When we're so focused on avoiding failure, we don't give ourselves the freedom to try. And it's in the act of trying that we discover our potential, The fear of failure only has power if we let it control us. Once we recognize it for what it is, a temporary feeling, we can push through and take the necessary steps towards success. It's also important to remember that failure is a natural part of growth. Think about a baby learning to walk. The first time they try, they fall down. The second time, they might fall again. But with each attempt, they get a little better, and eventually they walk. Success doesn't come without struggle. It's through the struggle that we develop resilience, patience, and perseverance. Without failure, there's no growth. Without growth, there's no success. Failure is the soil in which success is rooted. One way to look at failure is to consider it feedback. When something doesn't go as planned, rather than seeing it as a defeat, see it as an opportunity to course correct. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What does this teach me about my approach? Is there a different strategy I could try next time? Viewing failure as feedback empowers you to take control of your journey. It gives you the ability to adapt and keep moving forward, rather than staying stuck in regret or disappointment. Perseverance is a crucial trait when it comes to overcoming failure. The road to success is rarely smooth, and there will be bumps along the way, but if you can stay committed to your goals, even when the road gets tough, you'll be much more likely to succeed in the long run. It's important to keep your eyes on the bigger picture and not get discouraged by temporary setbacks. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They're the ones who refuse to give up. When you're faced with failure, take a moment to step back and breathe. Give yourself the grace to process what's happened, but don't dwell on it. Remind yourself that failure is part of the journey, not the destination. Don't let it derail your progress or cloud your belief in your abilities. Instead, use it as a stepping stone, a chance to reevaluate, adjust, and keep moving forward. It's this resilience, this ability to bounce back after setbacks that ultimately leads to success. Support is also a key factor in navigating failure. It's easy to feel isolated when things don't go your way, but don't be afraid to reach out to others. Whether it's friends, family, or mentors, having a support system can make all the difference. They can offer encouragement, perspective, and advice that can help you keep going. Don't let pride stop you from seeking help. You don't have to face failure alone. Finally, remember that failure doesn't define you. The way you respond to failure, how you pick yourself up and keep going, is what truly matters. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it to propel you forward. You are not your mistakes, and you are not your failures. What matters is that you keep moving forward with faith in yourself, knowing that every failure brings you one step closer to success.